Actor and singer Jared Leto being accused of some horrific crimes.
Warning, warning, warning. If you have young kids in the car, turn down your radio. Warning, repeat, warning. Adult content ahead in 3, 2, 1.
10 women have accused Jared Leto of sexual misconduct in a brand new documentary by the BBC. The misconduct, includes sexual assault, and Jared Leto denying all the allegations, saying they are absolutely and categorically false. And some of them are so horrific, we cannot even say them on the radio.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
We do our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone to help guide us through what the possible fallout, prison time, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And when there gets to be a certain amount of people that come forward, one, and that should be enough, but you start hearing like 10, or when Cosby got up to 30 or 50, you're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I mean, one should be enough, obviously, but there's more smoke, there's more fire, it seems like. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, kind of a heavy and kind of topic that, like you said, you don't want young ears listening to. So I'm glad you guys played the siren. Just a reminder to turn the radio down if there's young ones in the car, because this is serious. I mean, this is 10 women have accused Jared Leto of various crimes ranging from statutory rape to full-on sexual assault rape, and various grooming that he was doing, allegedly with kids as young as 14 years old.
Oh.
And so the BBC documentary claims that they have found 120 separate allegations made online regarding inappropriate behavior toward young women. And some of these are like corroborating, and some of them are the same people talking about it. So it doesn't mean that there's 120 victims, but they found just online 120 allegations of that support these 10 women. Also, the band members. He's an actor, Oscar winner, but he's also in a band, very popular band called 30 Seconds to Mars. And 2 of his band members have come forward and said, we were very uncomfortable. Yeah, they were in the documentary. They said we were very uncomfortable with his interactions with these young women that we witnessed.
I've heard other actors, not necessarily about that, but kind of said he's an odd one. Working with him, like not wasn't mean to him, but it's like kind of like he had his own thing and just didn't really enjoy the process. Doesn't mean he's a bad person, but this other, I didn't know that in the documentary they got former band members in it. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. And normally these behaviors that he's accused of would, give rise to criminal charges, right? Statutory rape, sexual assault, grooming, but they happened a long time ago. And so you're going to have some problems. Law enforcement's going to have some problems with the statute of limitations. Because like the California incident, that was a statutory rape of a 17-year-old, and that has a 3-year statute of limitations, so we're well beyond that.
Well, and Lisa... No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and just the same with the Nevada. The Nevada motel incident has a 4-year statute of limitations because the law was revised to say that if an incident happened after October 1st, 2011, then the statute of limitations got expanded to 20 years. This happened before that, so it's still under the old law, which was a 4-year statute of limitations. So both of these major incidents are time-barred by the statute of limitations.
What kind of evidence do they have to show that would actually come up as a guilty verdict for him? For instance, they have to show extreme evidence, right, or no?
Well, there was a non-disclosure agreement that was sent to a 16-year-old. And
that's
so,
not uncommon for celebrities.
Well, but she's 16.
Yeah, it's underage.
And so she did not sign it. But Lisa, I was going to ask, that would be evidence, right? Like they would.
Correct.
Yeah, they would say.
Yeah, that's evidence of him trying to cover it up and trying to suppress a witness. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but it depends on what the.
But you're not going to see, like I said, the statute of limitations is going to bar any criminal charges against him. And so what's going to happen is, thankfully, there are civil litigation avenues, and that's a lot of what my practice is. And I oftentimes find that these young victims, and there's a ton of support out there in research that says that a child sex abuse victim, it takes them decades to be able to come forward and really talk about it. They're just so traumatized and so psychologically damaged from it that they just bottle it up usually and hide from it. They try to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol to make it just the thoughts go away. And then eventually they come around to being able to talk about it and deal with it. A lot of times they get into therapy, and it might be, 15, 20 years later. And so that's why you've seen a huge movement all over the United States. 44 states have revised their criminal statutes of limitations, and 31 states have revised their civil statute of limitations to give these child sex abuse victims that time to recover. It's important.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it is. So in your experience, Lisa, with a person like Jared Leto, if these things are true, they don't usually just stop after. Isn't it more they compulsively do this until they get caught? Would you say that's been the case? Okay. So there could be some more recent things coming out.
Oh, every time somebody, because we go after these institutions, that enable these abusers, like, if they're at an after-school program or, unfortunately, it happens a lot in, like, youth groups and, that sort of thing. And usually as soon as one victim comes forward, or from a school, the first thing I say is, let's go find the other victims, because there's always more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and there were, you might be thinking, because this happened allegedly, I think we have to say allegedly, when Jared Leto was in his 30s and 40s, and he's preying on girls who are 13, 14, 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, how do they even, without their parents or maybe with their, he was having his security guard or people who are working at the shows have these girls come backstage and then somehow get them alone. At least according to the documentary, that's how, how that was happening. Because people will be like, oh, there's no way. You'd be with your parents. Well, there is a way. And people will say yes. You surround yourself with yes people. That should have been a major red flag, I would think. Somebody, like Jared Leto saying to his team, I need you to send her an NDA to a 16-year-old.
Right, exactly.
Somebody should have said, hey, we're not doing that.
Like the attorney that wrote it up. Right. I'm not doing that. Or maybe they left out the ages. I don't know. But
then
still, you think, what are we doing?
Right.
Who are these people? You got to ask more questions, right?
You're surrounded with people who will just be like, yeah, sure, no problem. We'll get it right over to her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even like the band members, that said they were uncomfortable, but they didn't do anything about it. That's why the documentary is very aptly titled Jared Leto, Hollywood's Dark Secret. It was a secret. It was known. It was a dark secret, but it was kept a secret. And I think you're going to, potentially see more witnesses and potential victims coming forward. Because when there's this many, 10 women coming forward, like you said, it's rarely an isolated kind of a thing. It's usually a pattern. And all these 120 separate allegations that the BBC allegedly found online, there's probably more folks out there. So he will face civil lawsuits because the statute of limitations in both states allow for that now, thanks to these changes in the law, these look-back windows. So he will definitely, I'm sure, be facing some civil lawsuits. And I imagine, especially, he just did this terse little statement saying that, that they were false allegations. But I think that he's going to have to say more about it because the gravity of the numerosity, and when you have this many people coming forward, you can't just go, nope, not true, because he's got all of these deals that are in peril. I would think that endorsements and record labels and movie studios are going to look at him and go, hey, we need a better explanation of this. And even if he has to be super careful if he gives a better explanation publicly, because then these civil lawsuits are pending and every word he says is going to get picked apart in those civil lawsuits.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it's probably not, we don't know, but like you said, it's kind of like an open secret in Hollywood. So the studios care now that other people know about it, but maybe there's some that knew and are like, well, we can't, they don't know. I guess if you don't know for sure, you got to be careful there too. And the media, of course, can get things really wrong, but a documentary by the BBC, they know that if they were being flippant about this, they'd be opening themselves up to hundreds of millions of dollars of lawsuits. So to me, that adds more gravity to this as well. Would you not say, Lisa?
Absolutely. And the defamation standards in the UK are, the bar is a lot more stringent than it is in the United States. So in the United States, a celebrity has a really hard time proving defamation. But in the UK, the laws are much more favorable to the celebrities. And so it's a more stringent requirement. So I'm sure they were being very careful.
All right. All right, Lisa, we'll keep...
We wanted to ask one more thing, Lisa. Yeah. So this is, we never remember. We're like, we need to ask Lisa this.
Yes, that's right.
And then we never remember.
And I love this. I love this other story.
Yes. We were talking about Trace Adkins, the country singer Trace Adkins. And he did an interview recently, sat down with Theo Vaughn and was talking about how his ex-wife then shot him.
Yeah, we have audio of it here.
I don't think she even had any idea what that gun was going to do. She thought it was a toy.
Was she pulling it like in a fit of anger, or was she just kind of...
She was mad, yeah. She put it under my left arm, and the bullet came out under my right arm, so it went straight through. I just remember getting up off the floor and then taking a few steps and then going back down. It went straight through my heart and both my lungs. It was a kill shot. The doctor said the only reason I survived was because the bullet went through at point-blank velocity, at muzzle velocity, so it didn't have time to mushroom.
So,
Man, his voice is so deep. I can't get over
it
it.
tickles to my ears. So, Lisa, we were talking about how later on, I believe her last name was Curtis. So he was married to a woman named something Curtis, and they went on to have
Julie Curtis.
Julie,
Yeah,
yes.
Julie.
They went on to have what they called a clean divorce, and it was because their lawyers at the time had advised them, like, "Hey, you don't want to get caught up in this because it was the OJ case was going on at the same time." And so we were like, "Well, so." Two people here are now saying we don't want any sort of charges pressed. We just want this thing to go under, just to go away. And Jason, you brought up the question, like, well, you two might not want any sort of charges, but could a state or...
It doesn't make sense because if technically she really did that and she really was out to shoot that gun and knowingly, and then he just decided, no, I'm not going to press charges, you would think that maybe, I don't know if this happens, the state itself would be like, no, we're going to prosecute.
Yes. So sometimes that does happen. So it depends on the circumstances. So it used to be a long, long time ago, like in the 40s and 50s, the victim had to request prosecution. And those laws started to change in the 60s and 70s and were completely changed by the 80s because what was happening was, particularly in like domestic violence type situations, and even in like rape and sexual assault type situations, the victims would be reluctant to prosecute or sometimes intimidated from prosecuting by the abuser. And so the laws got changed and they were like, nope, it's not going to be up to you. It's going to be up to the prosecutor, regardless of what the victim says. But they do take it into account. And here, the prosecutor has gone on record as saying, look, the victim and the only witness took responsibility for this and said she didn't mean to do it. So he, not only did he say that she thought it was a toy gun and that she didn't know it was really going to hurt him, but he also said it was my fault. I was drunk as a skunk and I was in a huge argument with her and I told her I was going to take that gun and beat her brains out.
Oh, wow. That was the part of the story we didn't hear.
He left that part out.
Wow.
I forgot about that part.
And so,
Okay.
So because he took responsibility,
Golly.
the prosecutor's like, what am I going to do? Put him on the stand? He's going to tell the jury it wasn't her fault. It was his fault.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an open and shut case. So that's why they didn't prosecute.
I see.
Interesting.
And now they can't because there's a statute of limitations in Tennessee for attempted murder that's 15 years, and this happened 32 years ago. So now, even if everybody looked at it now and said, okay, he's telling, maybe more of a truthful story now, although he still says that she thought it was a toy, which I find really hard to believe that she mistook a 38.
Yeah.
Put it under, right. Those are heavy.
We were like,
pulling the trigger's not easy.
We said she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And now,
And
based on that, the huge statement that he just left out
Yeah.
of the story, I kind of see why.
Yeah, he just said a couple of days of that drinking. I was drinking. So
Oops.
more self-defense. She was probably terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a horrible drunk, habitual, relapsing all through his lifetime, and was very violent. There was a kind of a famous story that happened back in 2014 where he was a performer on a cruise ship, and he walked into one of the bars on the cruise ship. He was very drunk, and there was a man in there who was a Trace Adkins impersonator who was singing his songs, and he got so mad that he attacked that guy.
You get out of here.
And,
This ship ain't big enough for the both of us. It's a really bad Trace Adkins, but get off my cruise ship.
I can't. I wish I could do it. I can't.
Just do the best you can.
Or can't.
Just talk as deep as you can.
I don't have a very deep voice.
I forgot. I was going to try to hit her with my gun. I forgot that part of the toy gun.
This is terrible.
Incredible. That's an incredible impression.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Sorry, what were you saying?
The cruise ship.
The cruise ship, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so then at the next port in Jamaica, he jumped ship and fled and went back to rehab.
I'm going to Jamaica.
He doesn't drink now, is that right?
You're Jamaican me crazy.
Is he done drinking?
He's relapsed many, many times. I think he's currently sober, because I'm a big Theo Vaughn fan. I caught a little bit of that.
I love Theo Vaughn, yeah.
Oh, my God, I'm a huge fan. He's my people, right? He's just like straight shooter. And I think he said on there that he's currently sober. But, he's been in rehab like 3 or 4 times. He's been married, I think 3 times. When he relapsed in 2001, his third wife and his 4 daughters staged this big intervention that they were never going to speak to him again if he didn't go to rehab. So he went again. Yeah, he's had lots of run-ins with the law, and so it kind of makes sense that he was probably giving her hell that day.
Yeah.
Dang.
This is a good time to promote his show coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yes, he's better now.
He is better
I
now.
think he's owning it.
No, he's
owning
doing a
it
tour and
yes,
he's sober and all that stuff.
Yes.
He's going to be at Bowman Grace, the first concert there in over 40 years.
And look, if we
I'm sure it'll be great. I think
he's great.
I think he's a real character. And but the one thing about her shot was what they call a kill shot. You take out both lungs and the heart with that shot. And it's miraculous that he survived.
I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's crazy. Oh, and then the Theo Vaughn interview, Lisa, it was towards the beginning, so you probably saw it, but he was telling us he has a lot of great stories. But Trace Adkins was talking about his mother still alive, and she's currently the mayor of a small town in Louisiana, and has been the mayor for years and years and years. 2 things real quick. He said nobody else wants to do it.
So she's stuck, kind of?
Yeah, she's like, it's a dying town.
Yeah.
He said, we had a mill and it shut down.
And that was the end of it.
And we shut down, so the industry's gone. But he goes, Theo said, well, what does she run into? Like, what type of problem? He said, mostly she writes letters to people to try to get their lawn in order. Like, your lawn's not looking great.
Clean it up.
Mow your grass.
Yeah.
Mow the grass. And then also, she said one time he was on the road and he got a call from his sister, Trace Adkins, and said, hey, Mom gets to be a judge at some point. Like, if there's a small crime, they said, all right, you're the mayor, you decide what happens. Which,
wow.
This is happening in America.
The power.
Yeah, the power, and this is happening in America not that long ago.
There's a lot of little rural areas where you get like magistrate-type powers without any kind of prior experience. You don't have to go to law school. You don't have to be a judge. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And he has great stories. I think he's a character. I like his music. I think he's a very interesting fellow. But I think he's got his life on a good track right now.
It seems.
He can kind of laugh about this thing with his second wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she said that the sister called and said, Mom just sentenced a girl who, like, I guess got busted for like minor drugs to 6 months of Sunday school. And Trace calls his mom, is like, you can't do that. You can't send people to church. And he said, well, I did. Yep. And said the girl did it.
And she has to. They have to go by it.
Fascinating. Lisa, you're the best. And also back to the Jared Leto thing, you do help victims of sexual abuse.
Yes.
And if somebody's facing that, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Oh, they can, just go to lanierlawgroup.com, hireaheavyweight.com. It's absolutely the most important work I've ever done, and I love helping these survivors. It's incredible. So it's an honor.
Thank you,
Lisa.
Lisa.
We appreciate you. And she's a top 100 attorney in the country, so you're hiring a heavyweight. Hireaheavyweight.com.